Tom, what the fuck are you doing? Why'd you disappear?
Am I here now?
Yeah, you're there.
Alright, yeah, I was trying to get this light on me so you can see.
Oh, that's definitely better. Yeah, you can definitely see. You look like an angel.
Yeah.
Let me change this back.
You know what's funny? Y'all are in widescreen. It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
And mine's very phone looking.
What if you turn your phone?
Oh, is that?
I don't know.
Hey, there we go.
A little bit.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm in the movies.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah.
Oh, this is sick, dude. So wait.
Right.
So somebody's recording this?
I'm recording the screen. So exactly what's playing on the screen is showing. And then I am going to, hold on, I'm closing the pop out here. Oh, great. Now Pornhub's in the background because now it's full screen.
Just have that as the fourth screen.
Yeah.
Just Pornhub on the whole screen, let me tell you.
Oh my God. No, I can't. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. What's your favorite color?
black.
Okay. That's a question I still get in actual interviews, and I always kind of feel bad for the person a little bit. I'm like, really, dude? That's what you're fucking asking me? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, who could possibly care what my favorite color is? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's painful.
But
Oh, I
also think
love
too-
that drummer. Favorite color green, right? Me too,
Yeah.
man. Fucking A. Like,
I also think just having all of us talking and everything, I think
I love that drummer. Favorite color green, right? Oh, yeah. That's fucking sorry, Dirt. Dirt knows how to get me laughing.
oh, dude.
It's hilarious.
I had a really funny question for Tom, but I forgot it. I hope it comes back up. It was some stupid shit that popped up in my mind, and I was like, I'm going to ask him this. But
no, this is gonna be good.
No, Tom, I really like the idea because, like, it allowed me to, listen in a way that, I mean, dude, no disrespect. I've never listened to your records and been jumped up every 5 minutes to write down another question for you, you know?
Yeah,
What a powerful way to listen. You know, like, we've all done music, right, for a long time. Finding a kind of a new way to ingest music was kind of powerful for me, dude. Like, today I'm in my backyard trying to do, like, yard work, and every 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, I'm jumping up back to the phone to write down more questions. And I realized pretty late into it, it's a really interesting, unique, powerful way to listen to music that I like. And I think that that's pretty, not just it's cool, man. It's more than cool. Like, I've listened to music for so many years and for so long, and it touches me. You know, every record touches you kind of in a different way. This was really something else, dude. I had a really good time with it. I got a whole page. I had to dwindle it down to what I thought was my best questions because I had my notes in my phone, which is out of control. But I thank you for that, dude. I think that that's really awesome and really neat, interesting idea to do this. So I had a really good time, like, preparing for it, which is funny to say preparing. I mean, I'd have been listening to the record regardless, but which, by the way, the record's phenomenal, dude.
Thanks.
So good. So fucking good, dude. Well, can we start? I have a question right off the bat. Can I start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I meant to bring a drink up here too. I was going to have a beer with y'all. Okay, so in No Days Off.
How the fuck is it I'm back in the ER? Back on meds I was trying to wean off. More depressed and anxiety peaked hard. Had a breath, I am dying to recharge.
Right? This song, I guess in a general sense too, do you ever feel, I wrote this down, but it's different actually talking to you. Do you ever feel like kind of boxed in by your songs being so personal, right? Like, we have come to expect it to be deeply personal from you. Do you ever feel boxed in by that? Like, it has to be? You can't Slick Rick it and go off on a wacky tale about whatever, anything. Do you ever feel boxed in by your music always being so personal?
I think that the thing is, since I started any kind of, working on any music, there was always some kind of sense of, like, I have to be just real to myself.
Sure.
But as far as like digging back into things of like mental health issues, stuff like that, or things that maybe you heard on Chemical Imbalance, and then you're like, oh, because there's always going to be those people that only want that part. They're like,
Yeah.
I just want those songs. I don't care about these other things, or whatever. So, but for that, it just happened to be. I didn't want it to happen, but it just happened to be that while I was working on this album, that was going on. So it was easy for me to just be like, well, this is what's happening right now, and I just have to get this out, even if it's something people have already heard, or whatever it is, or it's more of like that kind of mental health part of it, or whatever it was. It's like I just knew I was going through it, and I had to write it down because I don't know how else to like.
Yeah, no, I understood, and that you bring up a good question or a good point, because like to me, Chemical Imbalance is like the quintessential mental health album, right? Did you have any trepidation about going back in there, especially like right away on the record? You're back in the ER. You're back to that shit. I'm glad you did that because, to me, it speaks in a really powerful way, because I overuse that word powerful. I just don't have a better word for it. But because it's powerful, but like you're back in I'm back in the fucking ER. And but I was curious, if you had any trepidation about going back there, especially so early on the record. Like, did you know it was going to be song one from the jump, or?
I didn't.
Of course not. Yeah.
But it was one of those things where like it's weird because I'm so angry. Like recording that song, I was so angry because I'm like,
you can feel it, yeah.
That I'm really writing a song like this again. And it's not from, like, okay, well, let me force this because I know some people want to hear. It was like, fuck, I'm going through this shit again. And it's like, I can't believe that I have to write about this. Because that's the thing, too, is like, people will always say, like, oh, what about Chemical Imbalance Part 2? And it's like, I hope there's never Part 2. And that's what, it's like, you let that one be. But, like, of course, there's going to be songs here. There's going to be days I have, a shitty day here, and I want to write about that. So it's like, and I also put that in the first song, too, to just kind of, like, because it was so important, like, going through, just I guess when I was listening to all the records on it and stuff, I was just like, yo, if I just come out with this and just kind of set a different tone, I feel like it's like a real powerful tone. And to get people, I don't know, I always feel like that first track is like will set off how the rest of the album.
Of course, yeah.
But it sucked at the same time. I was like, fuck, like I really have to do, like I'm really writing about this again, and because I'm going through it again.
Yeah, well, how many people that kind of struggle with the shit that we go through feel the same? That's why that shit, from the jump, I was like, oh shit, Tom done did it again, dog. This shit really fucking had me. In fact, I had my best workout when you sent me, before it was out, the Weerd transfer files. Like, I realized how much music, like, helps me work out. I'm out there punching the bag, I'm fucking pouring sweat. I couldn't really get there without your record. Like, I needed your record to get there.
I think it's it's really speaks to people on that level, and it's real stuff. And I mean, I think like as your fans and listeners, I think what they need to do is completely stop supporting, really put you in the darkest place possible in order to really get this. Because I feel like you really got into like a dark area, and then you drop this, and it again, like some of the hottest shit. It's like, oh, there's Tom spitting that shit again. But
I know I know, and that's like, I don't know. I guess that's something you just have to deal with no matter what. Like any kind of artist, it's like you put out whatever. Everybody's gonna want you to release that same record. Like suddenly that record doesn't exist anymore. But that's something I always didn't understand.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, really like that one, like it's there. Like so now I'm gonna do something else because you already have that. Like I don't want to give you the same thing. But But unfortunately, I mean, with shit going on, which again started to bring up those thoughts again of like, fuck, like am I stuck again?
Oh, so you were not aware, forces you to stop and stare. When no one is present, I can see the moving rocket chair. Shadows that hold me tight, terrors known to come to life. Speaking in my ear when I'm asleep or feeling up at night.
And then also the difference I think with this one rather than Chemical Imbalance is like when I was making Chemical Imbalance, I wasn't really thinking so much about like when I put that record out, I was thinking hopefully people get this, but I'm not really sure. But I'm just gonna do it because I have to. Then with this one, I'm kind of thinking like shit. if I talk about this again, it's showing that even from then, like, I'm still not 100% better. So how am I going to give people hope to, like, look, like, you're going to get through it when I'm like, and that's why I even say it's like, you know, when people are looking up to you, it's like, now I don't fucking know what to do. Like, I'm trying to give you guys something good, but then it's like, here I am again, back in the fucking hospital, switching up my meds again, and, you know, afraid I'm not going to be able to tour ever again and all this shit. And I'm like, damn, like, I'm trying to give people, you know, to tell them, like, oh, no, look, it's
positive.
Like, shit.
Yeah. But the good side to that is that everybody right now is in pretty hard place. Like, people are not in the best places in their life. Everyone from every walk of life is in, like, a really weird spot, and people probably are spending a lot of more time in their own heads. I know I've had a lot more time to just kind of, like, sit around and start thinking about things, and then things aren't that great, and you start thinking about the future. Like, there's probably a lot more people that can start to relate that maybe couldn't relate before. Not that that's like what you're like, oh, this is let's get all these motherfuckers depressed.
Perfect time.
Yeah. But it does feel.
What's funny about that too is, like, think about, like, the record you guys just put out. How many people you think that you put that record out because of what's going on right now?
Oh yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, and it's so
that
weird.
shit's old as hell. Yeah.
Like, when I put out Dead by 30 or Dead at 30 for like the first single, people are like, oh man, this is like just like what's going on, and I'm like, just like what's going on. I'm like, oh,
yeah, but it did. It even to me, who knows you and knows it wasn't about that. You read Dead at 30 as everybody's dying and all this weird. You're like, is this related to that? Is any death you got to question if it's related to the coronavirus nowadays, even if it's a what's the word for it? Not a real one.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the only part that I overthink, because I never want people to listen to my music and think that I did it just to, like, cater to one certain thing, or did it for this. It's very blatant, you know, like, if I do the Pokemon song, it's like, obviously I'm doing that for
clear. Of course,
you know, like, if you guys put out that song and it's like, yeah, here's a bunch of, and then they're like, oh, see, it's because of the coronavirus that he wrote. I don't know. That always been weird.
No, I hear you. I will say about Late Bloomer too. Like, it takes like a turn soon after that, and you go into new ground. It's not like, you know, Chemical Imbalance will always. You said it. It'll always be Chemical Imbalance, and that's here. But this record takes like turns pretty instantly that make me appreciate even more, kind of setting it. To me, it really, even though you've done like the little Introvert, and there's been songs, there's been things, this to me feels like such a great companion to Chemical Imbalance because of that. That's like the bridge, those first two songs really, which Invisible Disease has the line, life of the party, but it was hosted by parasites.
The life of the party, but it was hosted by parasites. The chemicals comforting when your happiness paralyzed. Shoot me in public, I no longer feel camera shy. I keep falling. I'm feeling trapped, but I ain't free. With this invisible disease, I'm hearing death that keeps on calling. It's feeling more than just a dream. I think it's taking over.
Line of the decade, dude. Line of the day. I'm gonna get that shit tattooed on my forehead, bro. That's the and you deliver it so it's not even like a, hey, look at this line, dude. That's such a fucking great. Everything speaks to everyone differently. That one gets me, dude. I fucking love that line. And all the shit leading up to it too. It like is just like, that's the cherry on top. That's the bow. Love that fucking line. I got a question for you, dude. I mean, no offense. I really mean this. Are you sick of being like compared to Eminem? Like, as your music, do you even listen to Eminem?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what people are really comparing outside of, like, I guess maybe tone of voice.
Tone of voice, dude. It's like you can't even rap and have like a multiple syllable kind of verse at all without people comparing it to Eminem. So I got your record playing, and the neighbor goes, I like this. Who's this, Eminem? And I said, man, dude, somebody just said the same shit to me, and I'm just like, I'm not, dude, Eminem is a genius, dude. Like, there's no disrespect to Eminem at all, but like, dude, I haven't really listened to an M record in fucking 15 years.
Me neither,
because it's not like,
it's too much of that for me, for a whole album. I can hear a song, but I get to it. I don't know. It doesn't speak to me the way it used to.
Huge fan like I used to be. I always check, like, he has a new single out or something, always check for it.
Me
But I'm saying,
too.
like, I've been like an avid listener in so long, it just feels like, in a way, Tom, I feel like you're like, I wouldn't compare it to that at all, but my neighbor, first thing, like, oh, is that, and I was wondering if you're sick of that or if that bothers you, because I know everybody's gotten that.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
like,
I think,
over the years.
I mean, I think what's weird is I think that, like, I think it doesn't bother me now because if you think about it, how many people, like, on the radio or stuff like that, like, sound exactly the same to the point where you don't know who's singing that song because it's
Sure.
exactly like the last song. Where I'm just thinking, like, how is, like, if everybody's comparing me to Eminem because of tone of voice, because of multiple syllables, whatever it is, it's like, I mean, when Designer came out, people literally thought it was Future. You know, like,
Yeah.
there was, like, things where it's so much, like, but there's so many people doing the same stuff, using the same auto-tune stuff, the same type of beats.
Oh, I
So
fuck
I
it up
think-
all the time now.
And it's like, and also, again, obviously, I love all that shit too. But it's just like, the thing is, if people are going to compare, like, me to Eminem or something like that, it's like they have to, I mean, they compare everything to, they compare West Side Gun to Ghostface. And to me, it's
Yeah.
completely different. But it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know, I guess it's just something people have to, you know, somehow make it relatable, you know, compare it to something they
You
know.
have to be able to. Well, Josh, it happens with you guys in your band all the time. I mean, people have to. Oh, what are they like? Like, it's the first question
Yeah.
someone asks who doesn't know is, well, what's it sound like? So I feel like you automatically have to be able to like you could ask me any rapper right now, and if you asked me how to describe him, I would have to use other rappers to do it or
Sure,
bands.
no, fair enough. I understood. I
Yeah.
just was curious, like, Tom, you have like a particularly kind of evolved mindset when it comes to that. So I'm going to borrow from that because it doesn't like upset me, but it's also like, God, that's just not the. I get it too. Like, dude, Eminem at one point had stamped himself onto like my musical DNA. It was my shit. He changed like the whole landscape to me, and that stuff lives in me. It's like, God, it's been 20 years. Have we moved past that yet?
Right.
First thing. I'm like Eminem. I'm like, Jesus Christ, do you, my neighbor, you 50-year-old neighbor, do you even know what Eminem sounds like anymore? Like, what are you talking about?
And I think that's what's funny too, is because I think about how much different even Eminem's music is to the point now that I think it's just like, again, it's just like a multiple syllable. It's like, oh, this is Eminem.
Dude, and then,
totally.
And then young kids, it doesn't even, like, you're talking, it's funny, an older dude will compare that because that's what he knows, but then younger kids, you'll be like, oh, you know Eminem, and they'll be like, yeah, I heard of him. He was like the first white rapper, like, you know, like,
dude, totally.
Like,
you've got more, maybe you're more plugged in with kids. Well, you guys both probably are than I am, but you're absolutely right.
Oh, it's wild, dude. They don't give a fuck about any of our hip, and I'm not mad at them for it because I didn't give a fuck about any of the early '80s. Like, I'll show respect to Sugar Hill Gang, but I'm not here listening to the hippity hop while I'm like chilling in my fucking house. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's the same thing.
That's fucking awesome.
I get it. But that's why, but the underground still is a little different, I think, because people are willing to listen to someone because they look at them more like a real person. That is what I've learned, because these same kids that listen to all this wild shit, they love the SoundCloud rapper. They love the guy that they've stumbled upon that talks some real life shit that they can relate to. You know what I mean? These younger kids that I fuck with, like, they're constantly hitting me with, like, just weird ass music from SoundCloud and shit. And I'm like, I never, like, it's just weird. I never, that's never been something that I was into, but I think there's a lot of opportunity in that for like the kind of shit.
Certainly, yeah.
I think also just knowing, like, if I know 100% truthfully that I'm not like copying anything, purposely that he's doing, or like I'm not, mirroring anything I'm doing based off of what he's doing, like, and just being me, then it's like, really, they can say whatever they want. It's like, I don't know how to, I can completely change how I am. I can not, because then again, also at the same time, look, he's been through, family issues, mental health stuff, or,
sure.
And that's why it speaks to people, just like you speak to people.
Yeah.
Just like
no,
we
I think
spoke.
it's usually a compliment.
Yeah.
It's just not, that wouldn't be my first compliment. Like, hey, you sound just like this other guy, It's like, wait, what? But
I'm like,
it's usually meant in a nice way.
Yeah, at least you're comparing me to somebody that's sold, millions and millions of records. That's all right, I guess.
Yeah. Give me 10%. A producer used to say that to me when I was making my first Weerd Science record, which is totally sweating Eminem, granted. But they would say to me, Eminem sold 10 million records. You don't think you're 10% as good as Eminem? Get in that booth and sound like Eminem. Make a funny song about some fucking outlandish shit. And I looked up to these guys, so I was like, well, fuck yeah, I can do that kind of shit. Let's rock.
Yeah.
Like, but there was like a concentrated effort to sound like Eminem and for the goal of selling 10% as much as Eminem. That was like our mission statement in the studio. It's just, it's fucking crazy. But you know, they looking back now, they were probably my age now, and yeah, like it seemed like a good game plan at the time. Like, hey, maybe this shit's gonna break. We also thought there was gonna be a bunch of other guys to come through. We thought like Cage was gonna have his moment. We thought like you know, Bubba Sparks was gonna have this illustrious career. He had that big song, so there's gonna be this whole wave of this kind of, you know, crazy white boy shit that didn't really happen, and not in the way it did for Eminem anyway. But yeah, all interesting stuff though, fellas. Man, I actually really appreciate getting your guys' kind of point of view on that, because obviously I deal with it a lot too. But
and if you need a beer, dog, you can get one, and I can pause this real quick and restart the camera.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, you had a question coming up. I tried to stop it right before that.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. So in terms of like, don't move too fast, right?
You won't make it far. If you looking for a homie, I could play the part. No longer capped to save a hoe, now that the cape is off. At this moment, I don't even wanna date it all. Gotta focus on myself, I couldn't get involved.
Was there like I already used the word trepidation, but was doing a joint so in the kind of R&B pop realm something that you've wanted to do for a while? Because that song to me is different than anything that I've heard from you before. Not that you haven't done songs with like an enormous pop heartbeat. Again, never use pop in a bad. Pop is a good word.
Yeah.
But this was like, it's very current, and that song could be on the radio, dude. Like, that's a fucking hit song.
Say
Too deep and don't move too fast. Trying to forget everything, it's all in the past. Just a distant memory, it's all in the past. I don't wanna waste your time of mine, and I don't wanna lose your vibe.
Right? Like, I'm an old guy, what do I know? But that song, like, you could pop that right in the middle of the radio. I actually really like that song. And, you know, usually that style of stuff for me kind of either just misses me but I fucking love that song, dude. That song is tremendous. Had you wanted to do a song that was like that current, I guess, in that kind of pop/R&B world for a while, or is it not that much of a departure for you? Do you think it's along the same lines?
You know, when I did it, I really, what's funny is I did a chorus for it first, and I hated the chorus because I felt like I was putting a chorus there just as like a placement. I was like, I really don't want to be on. It was like, I don't know, I didn't like it. But the thing is, when I was making the beat, I was just like, I really like this beat. I found like the way that I wanted to rap over it and what I wanted to rap about, and so I guess I really wasn't. I wasn't like reaching for a specific sound or anything. But then also knowing that like Donnie Mapes, like I've been, watching him from like the beginning of his like starting music and shit. The first song I think he ever was on was one of mine, like back in Billy's closet type of thing. It was like been seeing like how much better he's got, and also being like, yo, I think that he would work. I was gonna first just give him the beat. But then I was like, how about we try to do something like, I have this song that's kind of written out, and I'm not sure about the chorus. I'm like, maybe you could just try the chorus instead. So
was that an older song? Like,
not really. Like, I mean, all of these songs are pretty much within like a year.
It reminded me of a song you showed me a long time ago that you did with Donnie, and I feel like it was a similar. I couldn't remember. You like played it in the car once, but it was the same kind of. I feel like you were having the same battle. You were like, do I sing over this or do I give it to him to sing over? And I was like, you should sing over. Like, dude, regardless of like, he's a great singer, but you know.
I think there's also like I like to think that I'm aware of like where like if I sing or whatever I'm doing as far as like melodies, I kind of see like, all right, I'm trying a little too much here. Like this is not working. In my head, you know, I don't like. I'm just like, I'm not really sure about that. I think I want somebody else on, or maybe I can change it. Whatever the fuck I decide to do. But with that song, I guess so. The bottom line is I wasn't really going for anything, although I do know, and I like the fact that people, if you say like, oh, I can hear this on like a radio type of thing, I can hear it. Like, I love that because I'm like, you know, it's nothing I go for, but I always hope that like that would happen.
Because it's like if it can speak to a lot of people, you know, in my head, that's what it means. It's like when people are like, oh, I could hear this on the radio. You're like, oh, wow, that could reach a lot of people, like people that I might not normally reach, you know? And I think
it's fucking hooky, dude. It's the second I heard it. All these other songs that I said I liked more, but what am I humming on my way to the fridge? And then like the story in that song really pulls you in. Like your parts are fantastic. And that Mapes fella killed it, dude. Like he sounds like, remember I texted you asking, I said, this isn't the Mapes guy that beat me up when I was a kid, is it? Because he's dope, damn.
Can I?
He wasn't,
but what's cool, what I also really like about that song is that, because I feel like on the surface level, it sounds like I'm an asshole because like, I'm just like, oh, I don't want anything serious, blah, blah. But pretty much what I'm saying is I've been so hurt and fucked up from like trying these relationships out that I'm like, no, this is how I feel now. Like, I don't want, like, I can't deal with this. You're lying to me. No, fuck you. Get out. Like, because I'm so bitter and jaded from my past relationship.
No, that came across to me. But maybe that's like what you said before. It's because, like, I know you and I know some of the history.
Right.
Like, I can
fuck
put
these hoes, dog.
Together and
fuck these hoes.
Well, that's interesting, though. I really like that song.
I got a real question that I've been thinking that I meant to ask, but this reminded me of it. Tom, you produced, mixed, mastered, did vocals, security, catering, everything. I mean, from right.
Right, the rider together.
No, because it's really, that's pretty cool. I think that's something that people should know because it's hard. I mean, we know ourselves it's hard. Like the beats that I've made in my life and the music that I've made, like, is cool and great. But it wasn't until I've handed it to somebody like Chris or Josh or like, you know, Josh in the musical sense and then Chris in like the sonic, you know, making it sound like a song sense. So when you can do it yourself and come that close, I think it's really cool. I think it's you know.
It's crazy. It's crazy that like there's no drop off in like production from the record that was like a $300,000 record that you put out. And so it's like, I was actually going to ask that because that's really true, dude. You did everything.
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy.
I had to like that was the biggest issue. That's why I always joke about it being like this album's a lot different for me just because of how important that part of it was, and to put out a record where I'm like, holy shit, this is 100% me. Like there was some things where, you know, once I started to work on the album and I started to get, and also, by the way, the reason why I even started that was because I realized, like, you know, first of all, in your 30s, you're not going to have everybody being excited teenagers and being like, yeah, let's do this for the fun of it. It's like, no, they have kids, they have lives, they have things, wives, whatever. They have life. Life is going on.
Everyone does.
Instead of being super bitter about it, which I'm not going to lie, there was a time where I was just like, all right, fuck all my friends, I hate everybody. Not realizing, like, it's not personal, but it's just me being like, shit, what am I going to do? So I didn't know how else to, you know, I was just mad because I was like, damn, I want these people, you know, to help me out. Like, why does nobody want to help me? But it wasn't that. It was more because they literally didn't have time, where there was, you know, they don't, for me, money isn't a big issue for me because it's just me. I have nothing, you know, whatever. What the fuck am I doing? This is all I got. But, like, you know, it wasn't the same for everybody else. So I was like, okay, what can I do? I have to somehow figure this out on my own. And also knowing that I wanted to start a Patreon, my biggest thing was, what if I tell people, oh, I can record 2 songs a month, and then all of a sudden I try to do that, and somebody's like, I can't record you right now. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? You know, these people, I promised them. So that was the other thing I wanted to do. and just to kind of like prove it to myself. I mean, even the video for Dead at 30, when I did that video, you know, it was like another thing that just on top of that, somebody right now has a deposit of money that I gave them for a video that I paid for in June and still hasn't paid me back for it. So like all these things are
here.
happening.
Put their name on here. We'll put their Instagram right underneath.
But you know, like, so it was between that. It was between like, you know, I also wanted to just be able to put songs out when I want and blah blah blah. So like, you know, I got Billy helped me out here and there.
Billy's a great ally, dude. Billy's like a really talented.
And
Yeah, Billy's great. Never really
Yeah.
did anything other than from his own home. Like Billy's never really worked in some big capacity, but Billy has like a guy from home who's never even really had a mentor that's like really been somebody. But Billy's like really taught himself and been able.
When I talked to him about that stuff, you know, it was always weird to me when he would be like, I'm just doing this for fun. It like didn't process in my head that I'm like, why don't you want to do this for a bigger thing? Because I, you know, it was like, which was stupid of me, you know, to think that way. But like, so it was so hard for me to think like, wait, how are you only free on these certain days? Don't you want to be free don't you want to not?
No, you know why, dude? Because some of us are pussies sometimes. And no, this is the honest truth that I'm going to tell you right now, dude.
Or he really just wanted to do it because it was fun for him.
Right.
Whereas,
but
fair enough, Derek.
No. I'm not calling Billy a pussy. What I'm saying is like, no.
Totally
Wait, no.
We went from, man, Billy's really talented. What a great ally. To fuck that motherfucker.
No.
Pussy.
No, I'm saying it because I was also Billy in many situations, dude. And I'm relating it to like when you used to say, Josh, like, yo, this shit'll pop and we'll go on tour or we'll go out and we'll do more with it. In my head, I'm like, I don't need to do more. I'm happy just doing the beats. This is fun. Like, more scared me. Like, more was like, I hope you have more. Like, I want to see you succeed. But like, man, if he pops off, he can find a DJ and go out on the road. Like, I don't need to be out there. I don't need to leave home. I don't need to leave. Like, I'm not saying he's a pussy. I'm saying everybody has this inner voice that's like, at least for me, maybe, you know,
You're absolutely right. And I'm, you know,
but then I ended up touring and love it.
Yeah, we all know you changed your life. You stopped being a pussy. You went. Now you're a road dog. You know, we know the story. I will say though, in Billy's case, or Tom, in your case, like even like the drum patterns, dude, like they're so professionally put together. Dude, that is the first thing that I can pick out. Dude, me and Ernie have done productions that are not record quality. They're not supposed to be. We did them, and I had the whole. But this shit is so pro that I had to ask, even though I knew the answer, I had to ask again because it is so professional and just job well done, dude. Like the mark of like all the things that I look for, the boxes checked of this is a professional, probably expensive as hell record are all there. And I'm really blown away that you did it. I really lack in that department, dude. Like my whole life has been about going to the studio. I need it. I have it. I always really look up to the people that said, because it's ballsy to say, hold on a second. Fuck that. I'm going to take the shit and do it myself.
Yeah.
I really, even at this stage in my life, like I really lack in that department. Like I'm up and running, but it all sounds like shit and I'm just not great at it. But yeah, kudos, dude. I'm really inspired, blown away by how good it is.
Like the thing with the beats too is, a lot of it is there's like a lot of these websites that you can like pay monthly for, and there's a bunch of people that just play. Let's say you just got on the drums or something, you made a quick little break, and bam, and it's there. Somebody plays a little guitar riff, it's there, and now they're all royalty-free samples.
Yeah.
You can like kind of put them together however you want, add shit to them, things like that, which is really cool. I mean, because you know, that was another thing is I'm thinking like, I just really wanted to see, because again, I don't know how to play the piano, but I know something that sounds good. I know, you know, like same type of thing. So I'm thinking like, how can I put these things together to make them sound good, or, you know, whatever it is, or cut out this part of the drum to give this space here, whatever the fuck that I was deciding to do. But it's all, again, just shit that I've been trying to figure. It's a lot. The only bad thing about it is that I feel like I could have got this album out in 3 months rather than.
Yeah, I bet. Well,
so
it's
that's
all a journey. So you're there, dude. I would imagine you're going to be the output is going to be even more now, and you're totally set up to run yourself. Even with those websites, though, like having the choices made. Not every great MC knows how to make great beats or a great piece of music. Or it's like you got to be good at 12 different things.
Yeah.
And they're all the boxes are checked, dude. Like I mean it. It's really wild, and you should really feel tremendously good about it, dude. I actually was like, no, it can't be, but hearing that it is,
yeah,
man, I'm blown away, dude.
It's awesome to hear.
It's
yeah, fucking
and you think too. I mean, it's looking at somebody like, not that I would ever compare myself to DJ Premier, but if you look at somebody like DJ Premier, it's very sample heavy. It's very just they find the right break instrumental thing, and they put those together, but they put it together so amazingly that it's like there's still a talent in that. So.
Yeah,
oh,
dude.
big time. I mean, Premier's one of my favorites, always will be.
Yeah, shout out to Premier and shout out to Billy Martin, okay? I'm making it clear, okay? I was speaking on my own inner thoughts, like how I felt in those moments when I like felt like it wasn't enough. But
we know.
I'm sitting here bugging out in my head.
So, no, dude, we were just fucking with you.
No, I know.
What you're saying. Like, and then, it'd be cool if Billy could, respond, because I am curious, because Billy's so talented. There's people with a lot less talent that make a career, not try, that make a career out of this, whether they work as whatever they do in that world. Always felt like Billy was really talented and a really nice guy, and
that's
probably.
And that's why I think it was so hard for me to get it at first. And like, how can you if you're that good, how are you only doing this for fun? It just didn't. But the more that I talk to people like that, the more that I respect it though, and I'm just like, you know what, you're right. Like I get it that you really are just doing it for fun. Where for me, I'm just like, what? Like, wait, what? Or I'm calling him. Also, the thing is too, does he really want to deal with me calling him every day and being like, yo?
No, he probably loves it.
One little hi-hat, like, can you just lower that?
Yeah.
I mean, how fucking annoying is that going to get?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But
then you feel weird about it, and you're like, I'll just let that hi-hat be loud because I don't want to bother him for the 15th time.
And that's when I finally decided, like, I gotta figure this out on my own.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Okay, so moving on here. Drown Yourself. What a song, dude. What a fucking song.
Accommodate my drunken habits with a couple last me. Going fully underwater from a puddle hazard. Back a bloody dagger, discarded a humble factor. Drown my sorrows at the bar, take the shot of laughter. Running faster from what they consider normal. In the same shirt for a week, I'm never formal.
Dude, what a fucking song. But if we are going to approach this and speak honestly and openly, which I would assume, I wouldn't give you anything less. I don't want to tiptoe around this or get too precious about it, but I think it's fair to say that I have heard the concerned rumblings of people that love you about your alcohol consumption. I don't mean to get ultra serious here, but I'm encouraged to hear you speaking about it in song. Do you think you're an alcoholic?
Lose control of the motor skills, I broke the seal. Further drowning with growing gills. The colder the ocean feels, my body's adjusting well. Sunk to the
I don't, which is, unfortunately, that's...
No, do tell. I'm all ears.
But, so the thing with that song was kind of just letting, I guess, people know that I'm very self-aware of, I guess, what it looks like or what it could be portrayed as or whatever it is. But I feel like the one thing, because there's a lot of times where I'm just rapping and I'm just talking about whatever, drinking here, drinking there, whatever, doing stuff, or I'm out and I make a joke about, let's do a bunch of shots, let's do this, whatever. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't make it come off as being cool. It's it's actually not cool to be able to drink that much and not get drunk. It just means that you literally drink a lot. Now I will say I drink a lot, but as far as what I consider to be a a dangerous like alcoholic would be, you know, if it was interfering with things I had to do, or if it was something that, you know, if I was at, let's say, in the studio or whatever it was, and I'm falling over, or I'm not getting something done because I can't handle, you know, I'm throwing up everywhere. Everywhere I go, I'm just constantly drunk. So for me, I do just really enjoy it, and I don't know how else to like say that in like a, you know, not in like a weird way, but like at the same time, look, if I tell Ern, hey, we're gonna go to this, I don't know, we're gonna go out hiking or something, he goes, all right, cool, I'm gonna roll up a couple blunts.
Yeah, you know it.
But the thing is, like, because being high is just, it just makes every experience better. And to me, it's like, I can go somewhere and it's like, I'll enjoy myself, but if I have a little bit of alcohol, that's cool too. And I mean, the one thing I will admit is sometimes I do use it as, I mean, it's like a nice, it takes away the nerves. You know what I mean?
Of course, dude, of course.
So, I mean, to have a few, but now it would be different if every time I drank, I got into a fight, I got into, you know, I was just ridiculous. You know, let's say you say,
fair
Yeah,
enough.
you're a
No, hey,
peaceful,
we're doing
funny, loving drunk. I mean, you can't get mad at that. It's different if you're bad. There's some that.
We've known a few, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst drinking buddies ever, like hardcore alcoholics, dude. It's like you can't bring them anywhere. They're all fucked up. They can't walk. They're sticking their fingers in girls' mouths and shit.
Trying to hold hands with
but,
gangsters walking into some fucking club.
Yeah,
And,
dude. That's a real story.
yeah.
No, I bet. But so that's the kind of thing. Like if you said, hey, you know, upgrade, like we're doing a Coheed show, like, yo, yeah, you come backstage, like we have a couple beers and stuff. Now, if you knew, like, oh shit, wait, now Tom's gonna start drinking and he's gonna trash the place. He's gonna start, you know, pulling the strings off of Claudio's guitar. You know, like you guys would not want me back there.
No.
Or
I'm hoping that happens. That'd be awesome.
Ern would have
wild.
been bringing out, you know, beers like.
As of right now, you're still allowed. So.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that was honestly like that's one of my favorite songs on the album.
It's great, dude. It's great.
It's just so real, and it's like being very transparent, being like very honest with it. You know, I don't believe that I have a drinking problem, but I guess that's up to anybody else to say. But you know, at the same time, look, my brother being an addict, I've seen, you know, I've seen what an addict looks like, and you know, and what they go through and what they've. So it's like it's hard for me to put it on that same playing field when, like, you know, I could have shit hanging around, I could have a few bottles around here or something, and not every second look past it and be like, I have to chug all this right now, or you know, whatever it is. It's like, you know.
Yeah. Are you ever afraid that you're an alcoholic? Are you so sure that you're not?
It's so weird because like I say that, I feel like that's even worse than being.
No, and any answer to this sounds like one. I just mean in your real, like in your quiet inner moments. Which, by the way, we don't have to put this out, this part, but do you ever feel like
I would? I mean, hey, I wrote the song, you know. Like,
fucking A.
Yeah. So, I think it was also just kind of, you know, because I think the one thing too is like if I'm just like, yo, I can, like, every time we go to the bar, if I'm just like, let's do some shots, shots. Eventually, if somebody says, oh, Tom drinks a lot, suddenly people are going to say, anytime that shot comes out, they're going to be like, oh, look, like he's drinking again. Like, so if we were on tour, we stop at a bar or something, and we have lunch, and then I go, oh, I'm just going to go grab a shot, Jameson. I just do that, boom, take one down, we go back on the road. If you're not thinking about anything, if you're not thinking like, oh, you don't know that I drink, or you're just thinking like, oh, that's funny, and like, let's keep going. But now if you have it in the back of your mind, like, oh, well, somebody said that one time Upgrade did this and blah, blah, but it's, so I feel like there's that, I don't know, it's like easy for people to like pinpoint that as soon as like a drink comes out or something, they just like, oh, what, you know, I don't know.
But it's
weird.
all to me. It's the perspective of also there's different levels to this shit. Like in a real way, like I drink almost every day or every other day. Now it may just be one beer. Like it's a different level from drinking a ton. But to somebody who doesn't drink at all, they go, why does this guy need a beer a day? Like where, like at any point, I think you can look at somebody and go, well, he needs this and I need that. And people look at me and go, Jesus, do you need to smoke? Like Josh, who doesn't smoke any weed, is probably like, this dude spends $50 a day just smoking.
And I've never said,
you've never said it.
We
No.
get food and we sit down to eat, and it's like we've been waiting to eat
Yeah.
all day. We're about to eat. I hear a lighter. I look at Ern's blowing weed smoke, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to eat, but my mouth's filled with weed smoke. That's the only time I ever was like.
No, I'm not saying
like,
you've said it. I'm not saying
I know,
you've said it.
that's
But I'm
fair.
saying people, they look. If someone doesn't do it, it's got to be a thought. Like, geez, that's a lot. Like anything, sports. Like somebody who doesn't run looks at you and goes, "Wait, 9 miles a day? Is this dude insane?" Like when normally to some other runners, it's nothing. So I get that it's all in perspective. Like to some people, I drink daily or every other. Well, especially now with this whole shit going on, I've been drinking every day, pretty much.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
And-
Although this is only my second beer since lockdown. I had one yesterday, and I was like, man, that was awesome. Like it's nice to just sip on a beer, but I don't really drink a lot. But maybe I should start, man. This shit is fucking. I'm bored
I
out
mean,
of my mind.
I drink whiskey at the end of the night every night, but now like something like this, I'm gonna be drinking and smoking. It doesn't. But I'm just saying it's interesting because to some people, Tom would definitely look like there's a real issue. Like my man drinks a lot, and like can drink.
Yeah,
But I get the
less
grip of your
concerned
life.
with-
The grip. No, I'm just saying I get the grip of your life. Like I get that if you feel you have a grip on your life and you really honestly feel that, then like to some people shit may look crazy, but you're like, I got this. Like you're not tripping. You're not like fucking slurring to us right now after having a drink or like, you know.
No,
like,
Ern, you know in my life too, like people call. I was totally not concerned with anyone else but you. I just want to know if you thought, because of that song or like how you thought, everybody, all three of us here, the outside world would call into question a bunch of our actions. So fuck all them.
Yeah.
I was just curious, like, how you felt about yourself and if that song. I also was curious about like your mom and your family or your brother, like when they hear a song like that, what is their vibe? What's their reaction?
yeah, your mom when she hears any of your songs, honestly.
Well,
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I just hope she never does. I'm still, even at this age, I still don't like. I don't even want her to know that.
But
this
she
is about-
listens, right?
yeah.
I mean,
I
I
hear
do
you.
podcasts. I tell my mom specifically, do not listen. Some of this is exaggerated. Some of this is kind of me being funny. Like, not every, like, you don't understand where the humor is. Like, you listen to these things, and I start getting these paragraph-long text messages about how life's going to be okay. And I'm like, Mom, I don't even think it's that bad. Like, your mom must be bugging because yours is way worse than.
I don't think she does though. And the thing is too is I'm not gonna lie. I'll just be like, oh, I'm talking about other people. Like,
But wait,
and
you don't think she even listens?
because she wouldn't know how to find it unless I gave her a CD.
Yeah.
All
My
right, well
mom
then
too,
you're
and she
lucky,
was
I
well,
guess.
Yeah.
I guess you're
Like,
lucky. Yeah.
But
Although the best like advice I ever, or the best piece of like this producer told me, he said, so I was like, man, my mom didn't like that song. And this producer was like, good. If your mom likes this shit, it's back to the drawing board, man. I was like, oh, you're totally right, dude.
that's
I was like,
very
wait,
true.
thank
Yeah.
God my mom didn't like this shit. Yeah, I'm not making music with my fucking old mom. What the
It's
fuck?
very-
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my dad actually, because he has YouTube and he probably subscribed to me or something like that.
Dude, I seen your dad at a show with the headphones on fucking
Yeah,
bumping.
But,
Yeah, dude.
right, but it's just funny, like, actually, what's kind of crazy is I've only seen my dad cry twice. And the second time that I saw him cry was I showed him, because I was like literally just like, hey, I just want to show you like this song. It was for Side Effects. Like I was just like, I want to show you this video because it was like my first professional video? Maybe, I don't know. But I was just like, look, check this out. You know, like I want you to see this thing and just, you know, it talks about stuff I went through. And then like I look over at him and I see him like a few tears in his eye and he's just like, I just can't believe you're going through all that. Like I didn't really understand. And it was like so crazy to see that. But he, you know, I did get something like randomly in an email where he's just like, you know, oh, I heard this song or whatever. And he's like, I'm worried about you. So then I started realizing like, you know, and I try to break it down to like make them feel a little bit better, even when it's probably true. Like if I'm really saying some of that shit in there, it's like it's probably because I really felt like it.
Yeah, of course it is. Like
I'm like, look, you know, if I say, hey, if I said I drank 12 bottles in one night, maybe I just had 10. You know,
Yeah.
it might have just maybe I exaggerated a little.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, geez, I was worried.
Yeah, when I said I wanted to kill myself, I just meant like I just want to go to sleep. I'm tired.
It's like, oh, you just really want to hurt. Like you just want to punch the walls. What I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. Plus also, one time, sorry, this is gonna end up being 12 hours long.
That's
but
okay.
one time when I remember the first time, like my mom was like, "Oh, do you want a glass of wine?" type of thing. Which is funny now. We've been drinking bottles of wine all day. But she's like when she first like offered me something, I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'll take the glass. And like I drink the glass, and then about like 10 minutes later, I get up to get another one. She's like, already? And then I was like, oh, never mind. Not doing that. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Wait. So when was that? When did that happen?
That was probably like 3 years ago or something like that.
Okay, so but in the recent, you were an adult.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
funny, dude. My go-to was, and I still use it. They're like, God, you said this thing. You know, we're kind of concerned. It's like, listen, a song is a piece of a feeling. And I'm exercising those things, you know, that I'm getting out like the darkest parts. And luckily I come from a family of musicians and like they dig that, they understand. But there's been a few lines that like the family came calling. So I was curious with you because the shit is so personal, so powerful, so effective. Like the stories are effective. They draw you in. I say, God, what must, like as a friend, it affects me, you know? So I'm thinking, well, man, what about your mom? And really, specifically your brother, like with the addiction, with the rehab and stuff, like so that's all like super duper interesting, man. Like I'm glad that you shared it too. Like so I have kind of a question that, again, I'm trying to like approach this delicately because I don't mean this in any kind of pointed way, Tom, but like I'm curious. I think Ernie might be curious too, but you can correct me, Ern, if I'm wrong. On songs like You Should Be Proud or like Dead at 30.
Haters, I can see them out, or I leave them leaking when I see them out. Thought I'd be the one you read about, shit, you should see them now. Stepping over lines while you being foul, I don't have a team around. Wouldn't even stop them bleeding out, or lend a hand when they see them down.
Or really any song on any project of yours that talks about like the kind of pain of feeling like people that believe in you don't anymore. Friends are there and then they're not there. Do you ever give any, you must give some thought to how it feels for people that do believe in you but are also stuck in the mud. You know, it's like, I feel like I'd fucking give anything for you to be on tour with me on every fucking tour, but I just got no clout. And like when I hear those songs, I figured I owe it to you to be honest about this. I always want to like, I want you to know like how much your music not only means to me, but how I would go to bat for you always and go hard for you. But I bet I understand how it feels for you. I hope you understand how it feels for me because it's almost the same. It's a really defeated feeling, and it's a feeling of like, dude, I'm not trying to hook you up with the Coheed crews. I'm trying to hook them up. People spent a lot of money. I know you'll make the experience. And that's just one. This is one instance. But always, even a Coheed tour, I know people would love it if you came. So I feel like it's not even me trying to hook you up. I look at it as trying to hook them up. And yet things don't, I'm just not a shot caller like that. It can be as frustrating for me as it is for you. And I wonder if you ever give any thought to that.
You know what's funny is I actually never thought about it. I mean, especially with, I guess maybe with like you guys and like people that I know for sure. Because when it's interesting because I really didn't like, because also before I get into that song, like, I mean, I always say like, you know, I would literally like the people that, if I all of a sudden just became like the biggest artist in the world, it would be like, all right, these are the people that I want to make sure. It would be like, all right, my mom, Josh, Ern, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally like, so I appreciate you guys more than anything. Like literally actually changed my life, because I don't think that without, no matter what happened with Equal Vision, no matter what happened with all that, like even the fact of, and also what's even better too is none of this was like, oh, I'm going to share this because, oh, Tom, hey, I'm going to share your post and hopefully people can get it. Oh, I'm going to share this. Like we all just got along and we're like,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. Maybe we should do something because we do that. You know, it just like ended up being a thing like that. And then people came on. But without that, I mean, you know, those Coheed fans those are real fans. Like, those are people that follow anything. So, like, really, I don't know, you know, I mean, yeah, like, I had a fan base, but at the same time, that's a different type of fan base. I mean, and you know, even getting signed to Equal Vision got me a little bit of something of, like, being, okay, he's not just somebody just in his bedroom just making songs. You know, it's like, here's something that's, you know, it gave me some kind of validation of, like, he's okay, an artist, you know, type of thing. So when I do write those songs, I mean, I actually never think of it that way. That's more of my frustration with, like, just in general of it being like, if I post a song up and, you know, it doesn't get hit at all, or now all of a sudden I have to pay for people to see it, or, you know, or even just the fact of, like, when people hit me up and say, you know, are you still making music or something? It's just like, you stop looking for it, you know? Now it's like, again, people have lives, people are doing stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Everywhere. But it's like, I guess it's more of like the people that pretend. It's just like, yo, man, I love what you're doing. Like, have you put anything new out? And I'm like, well, what was the last thing you heard? It's like, well, I saw that you put out Smile and Nod, right? Like, what else have you put? It's just like, my guy. Like, if you were kind of looking into it. But it's not, I guess it's not so much that I'm even, like, again, I'm trying to separate myself from being, like, feeling personally attacked and not just thinking, like, this is what everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, like, just how it is with music. You know, people sometimes fall off, sometimes whatever, they get back on.
But you had a big crew of, well, not a big, but you had your crew. Like, I remember when that Equal Vision shit started popping off, there was, like, Richie came up to me. And, dude, I always thought Richie, like, was such a beautiful soul, man. And he came up and he's like, he just thought that, like, it was count T-minus 31 days till you are bigger than Eminem. And, like, I didn't want to, like, tell him, like, hey, it might take a little longer than that, bro. I loved his enthusiasm. And I do, like, I wonder, like, how it feels when, like, those, you know, good friends, people that you know care about you, but they kind of fall, but they have the lives and stuff. But I think I got my answer, Tom, even by hearing you talk. It takes some understanding, but I felt that too, you know, in my life, and it's tough, man. It fucking hurts. Yeah. It's like,
and and exact. I mean, I think it's, you know, it's also like me kind of processing it myself. It's like, okay, so I'm going through the stages of, like, oh, okay, fuck everybody, like, no, nobody wants to help me out. Okay, fine, fuck you. And then to, like, wait, I really understand why, you know, you guys aren't doing this on a personal level, to this, to that, you know, like, and really understanding it, to then going back to, like, I don't want to lose my friends because they don't, you know.
No, of course, yeah, of course.
Time, you know, to do that or whatever. But it makes me think differently now, though, too, because I think who else is listening to it that way, you know, like, of people that I don't even mean to.
Yeah,
you know,
I can tell you from experience. You know? Me and Ernie have had talks like, does he mean us? Like, not to throw you under the bus, or that, dude, we're just being real with each other. I've definitely, I understand, dude, and so does Ernie. Like, but like, there have been a couple times where, like, dude, like, does he think that, like, I wouldn't go to bat for him so hard? Like, I'm fucking arguing with this dude about trying to get him on this show, and, like, but that's. You deserve that, dude. You deserve to have me argue, but I'm always down. But I was more curious about, like, the other people in your life. I mean, and, like, the Equal Vision thing. It's like, you know, dude, most people that sign to a label, nothing really happens. But I just, man, dude, I thought that was, like, the perfect marriage, and then to not have it be, you know. I mean, I certainly wish, and I'm not. This isn't like a bad mouthing of Equal Vision, but of course, I wish they spent more money. Like, I wish that they. But
I mean,
I
Right.
get it too, but like, of course, I wish that. Of course, I think anybody involved in the upgrade realm would have wished that, but.
I
You
just
know,
wish
I
they
also-
would have got you on tour with somebody dope that could like be in the hip hop world, because that's all you need is the exposure. I think I
Well,
think
that's what I think was the biggest thing is like when we were talking about it and we'd have those meetings, it was like there were so many things that were talked about that didn't happen.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
That's why I always felt like we didn't really get a shot to even,
Yeah.
because then once it became just like, well, keep doing what you're doing, it's like, yeah. But then we're back in the same position again, like.
And it was as disappointing. Well, maybe not but it was, the disappointment was palpable for me as well, dude. It was like, well, and then I remember conversations with Dan where it's like, what can I do? Give me a job to do. And it's just like, fuck, man, nobody listens to Josh Eppard, I couldn't even fucking work out a tour with I the Mighty, which to this day, me and Brent have every 6 months, we have a conversation about it where I forget we talked about it, where I'm like, sorry, dog, I don't do favors if you can't do me a favor. And he's like, dude, we fucking made up over this. I told you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. 6 months later, like, sorry, dog, can't help you out. But, that shit is real for me, dude. Like,
yeah, and that's, but see, that kind of stuff, too, like, as much as I don't want you guys to like beef over it, but at the same time, I think there's sometimes that people have to realize, like, yo, you fucked this up, like, and you should just know this really affected me, because like sometimes I think that maybe they're just like, oh yeah, whatever, we're not gonna bring him on, but anyway, yo, Josh, can you do this for us, and not think twice about it, where it's like, yo, you really like, I was really trying to do something, and you
it's been made super clear to
you showed me, you should edit it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and that's the kind of thing too. When I see that stuff, I'm like, damn. Now when I want to take, you should be proud of me, like off the out, because I'm like, shit, man. Like that's, like.
Dude, do you ever? Maybe you should call Richie and the guys and like just say like, hey, just so you know, these are feelings. This isn't always black and white, the exact way things are, or whatever. You make up your creative, more creative than I am. You make up your own thing. But like that's what I would say. But I was always curious if it ever landed hard for those guys.
So because I have talked to them about it.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah, awesome.
Which I think
he told Richie it's about him.
And
he was psyched. He's like, hell yeah, dog.
I was like, Richie,
chocolate.
I was like, yo, Richie, it's me or Aiden. I was like, you have to decide. You gotta decide, man.
Richie's the best, dude. Richie's the best.
Richie cooked me a carrot cake when I moved. He came over to my house with a straight homemade carrot cake.
Well, what's even
what a guy.
The best part about Richie though is he's the only one that still I could break it down and be like, yo, Richie, I just want to let you know, like, at first I'm sorry, like I was being like bitter, and I was probably acting like a certain way that I shouldn't have, and coming across a different way, and like I'll throw it all out there and just be like, so I just want to say like I'm sorry about that. And he's like, well, buddy, like I mean I'll still go if you need me, or like and I'm like. No, please. I'm like, please, I'm just saying, like, it's okay if you can't. Like, you can say no. It's all right, man. But he just, he always wants to. But I've talked to, I've talked to EJ. I've talked to even Dre and everything, too. Because a lot of people see, right now, Dre is, I mean, he's doing fucking amazing.
What's he doing?
He's on tour with Lil TJ, who's, like, one of the biggest up-and-coming artists.
Well, was on tour.
Well, yeah. And, but like, so a lot of people will be like, oh, why isn't Dre like putting in the work? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing this? And it's like, man, I'm much more difficult to sell to like these fucking Atlantic records or
Dre
put in his work. And
it's like,
dude, I bet he is though. I bet, dude, I would think Dre is doing that in a maybe like the correct way that it should be done. Like sometimes shit doesn't take like that. I knew that Drake, he was doing something big. I didn't realize it was that big. That's awesome.
Yeah, like he's killing it. And that's the thing too, is like, so again, all right, so do I now sit back and I say, Dre, you're a piece of shit because you're bettering your career? Like,
yeah, exactly. What are you
those are the kind of things I have to like really look back at myself and be like, yo, if you're feeling a certain way about that, like that's your own personal issue that you have to deal with.
That's like an evolved place to be though, Tom, because like, feelings are heavy, man, and they're complex. That sentence right there answers the question, though. Like the fact, not everybody has like the kind of I don't know, to be forthcoming with themselves enough to kind of even look at it from that realm. So that's awesome.
It's because again, and then also thinking about like these are people that you consider like some of your really good friends. You know, it's like
Sure.
Yeah.
like because then you realize too, like even with all of us, like before the music, it was like we all got along. That was the main thing. That's why we started to make music, was just because it was like, well, first we all got along and we're joking about just regular life shit and just whatever. And then it's like, oh yeah, the music is secondary. Like, oh yeah, we should also do this, by the way, too, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have like cemented friendships.
Yeah.
As do we.
Yeah.
So how did he start fucking with Lil TJ? Like, how did that come about for him?
So what's crazy is all right, I worked at Best Buy, Dre worked at Best Buy, EJ worked at Best Buy, and then this guy Lewis worked. Oh, also Billy worked at Best Buy, Richie worked at Best Buy.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. But so then this guy Lewis was working at Best Buy too, and he was like, him and Dre would DJ for me. Like, if one person couldn't, then he would, or blah blah. They would go back and forth, and Lewis was just he's got a way with words type of thing, and he somehow managed to get through to the I think first, where was he at first? Maybe he was first at Atlantic or something like that, and then he moved to Columbia, but he became like this big A&R, and he's getting these people signed that are doing great. And then from that, he was like, yo, Lil TJ needs a DJ, and then hit up Dre, and then he did a few shows with him, and then it like, because Dre's an amazing DJ, like he's fucking great. So then, he did it. He got used to it and everything, and then now TJ wants him as his DJ. So it's just like, all right, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
He's doing great. And I mean, and again, like with this whole thing going on, I mean, they just did a show at the Chance, and like, and Dre's like, yeah, come through, like whatever, and we still like chilled and everything. So it's like no hard feelings as much as people might think, but I'm also more aware of like, I don't have the same sound. He's not going to be like, yo, here's the next future, the next whatever. Like it's a different.
It's not
set.
appealing to that market. Yeah, it's not like.
I mean, look, Lil TJ is fucking 19 years old, and turning up for all these little kids. If I came out and tried to, it's like, come on, man, what like I'm aware enough at that where I could be like, maybe, but I always do tell them to at the same time, like, yo, hit up, if you start meeting some weirdos, let me know.
Yeah.
Because we can still make some money.
I would think though that like the dude at Atlantic, like I do think that like if you had the machine behind you, Chemical Imbalance, Late Bloomer, like they had singles, dude, shit that had legs that could have worked. But dude, the more I kind of grow up and just am aware of my surroundings, it's like I used to feel like you get these demos and motherfuckers didn't have the songs. It was like laughable. But now you get demos and like it's like, oh shit, that shit could work. So is it all just luck? I have to believe it can't all be just luck. 98% of it's luck. But like I always felt like if you had any kind of machine, I would think like somebody like Atlantic. I mean, trust me, dude. Like I said the shit to Blaze at Rock Nation. Was like, dude, you've got to know someone outside of the rock department that could fucking say that this could work. I
believe 100% that all I need is that right push, and I guarantee you, like, we're good, we're off, and that's why I felt like too, the same thing with Equal Vision, where it's like, put me on tours with these bands, and I promise I'll win them over. Like, I win over 50%, if I win over 20%, whatever it is, like, I promise you, people are gonna leave and be like, okay, I'm with it, and I always felt that way for anything, and I'm just like, if they just took time to be like, hey, we have something that maybe isn't like this, but it's like this, I just feel like it can definitely work, and it will work.
Yeah, I feel like it will work too. The time certainly has not run out for you, my friend, but it is like, it hurts me because like I just thought like this is it, but yeah, I definitely, it ain't over. Like it's everybody has to struggle, and I still feel like the right push, even if that push is doing a record yourself, that might be the push, but the right kind of thing that aligns, like the music connects, dude. Like, sure, there's like a pop song here that could exist on radio, but the shit as a whole hits on like in a deep, powerful way that like, for me to believe in the world, like this shit has to it has to connect. Like people aren't making music this good, and this kind of timeless. There's some dudes from Kingston that are killing. Like every time I hear Dom Gotti, I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe that's the same guy. Because Dom did his fucking push-ups, man. Like Dom, I'm not talking about his physique because he is a big motherfucker, a strong motherfucker. Dom's also a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
And then Dom turns me on to all these dudes from Kingston that are killing it. That are really good. It ain't like it used to be, dude. It used to be there's a bunch of clowns rapping, and it was like, God, everybody's so bad. You had to be like halfway good. But now there's some dudes that are smoking it. But admittedly, it could be that I'm just ultra familiar with your material. But songs that like land in that kind of way, in a powerful that lands here, not to be corny, but like it lands in your heart. That's not an easy thing to do, man. I don't think there's a Tom in every town doing that, where it's like every town has a guy that has some bars and whatnot. And I do think that, I still think the future is really bright for you. You're not 40, you're 30. It's not like you're an old man at this point, but
and I mean,
that being said, that makes us old men, but
well, I am old. I've accepted it, dude. I'm an old fart, and I'm loving it, dude. You know what? I'm an old fart. There's food on my table. I got a fucking roof over my head. I got a pen when I need one. I'm good to go, man.
A movie room. Yeah, that movie.
I got a fucking movie room.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right,
I'm with
They
it.
zapped the hunger right out of Weerd Science. Put me in a decent house. I got a car and show. I'm good. But what do I care?
You watch some baseball.
Well, the government's watching us, but I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah, if they leave baseball off long enough, dude, it might become a problem.
Yeah, I'm starting to get revved up a little bit. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Hold up.
We lost you. Just cut to the coffee cup shot. That was amazing. I love that that's your profile pic. Oh, no, we lost them.
Wait, we lost them.
Okay, we're good. We are good.
Okay, I gotta go.
No. Hold on. I can't even. Hold on. Wait, we can't. I can't even use this because I can't blow it back up.
What? Oh, man, I fucking wasted my joke on you.
No, it's so good, but I can't. There's something weird freezing. That's why the problem.
Back to me and Ern watching Pornhub together.
No. I can still. Oh my God.
Hey, I really do have to go. My wife's been calling me for like 25 minutes. But I would assume this is long enough, right? Like I didn't know how long.
Yeah,
I felt like we went way over the time it was supposed to be.
No, I think we're good.
Did you have other stuff or?
No, that was the end of my questions. My notebook went away.
Cool.
I mean, I had about 100. I whittled it down to what I thought was kind of the most interesting ones, and I wasn't going to bring up the one about like songs landing for the people that love you, but this went so well, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to ask it because it's a real question. I'd ask you that if it was me and you chilling at the bar.
But I'm glad you did because like I didn't like when I made that I did not even think about that at all.
Yeah, that's probably good. I just was also almost even more curious in how they would take it because I'm not like close with Richie, but he's a special dude, man. I really liked Richie and I loved his energy, and then like I started noticing he wasn't around anymore, and like I get it, I understand life, but even I like was like, oh, it's interesting that Richie's not really, I don't see him anymore, and like just wondering how he, just the whole energy of it or whatever.
Yeah, for Richie, it's like it's just kids and.
Well, I see online because we're friends, and he's busy and doing his thing. I'm proud of Richie doing his thing, but he's always been kind of curious.
Yeah, he hit me up to go to a bar this week, and I was like, well, there's something going on right now.
Richie doesn't even know about coronavirus yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he knows. He's like, yo, we should go grab a drink or something. I'm like, well, see, the way the times are right now.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. Hey, Tommy, you want to go have dinner?
But it was the perfect Richie thing, though. I loved it.
Yeah, Richie's the best, dude. All right, this is it. I'm out of here, motherfuckers. as I'm getting off the phone.
He just sits there, watching you. He's the man on the moon. The man on the moon.
I would rather see you rise if it meant I had to fall. Would rather see you win, I ain't seeing you at all. I know it's for the best, I don't answer when you call. Bet that in the end that you'll be better off. You were better off without me. I knew it from the start, you'd be better off without me.